Welcome to TCT Asia. I'm Blaine with Snapmaker, and this is Jonathan Levy, the next layer.
Greetings, everyone. I'm really excited to be here.
Awesome. So, we sent you a U1 beta testing unit.
Indeed.
Which I think you had a pretty good time with.
I did.
What did you think of the U1 that's at your workshop, and what do you think of some of the changes we've talked about making the final production one?
So my pre-production unit was pretty much perfect, actually. I usually break printers. My audience, anyone who watches my channel will know, I usually break pre-production printers, about 70% of them, and I have not been able to break this, which is very impressive. So either the pre-production ones are like really good, or you guys have just built an incredible machine here.
Yeah, a very high praise to our engineers. They have spent more than 2 years putting this thing together, really tightening the screws and getting everything ready to go.
One of the things that I'll say, having spent the last 3 days going around Shenzhen and trying to sell my agenda, if you will, based on what my audience wants, is one thing I want to praise you guys for, and I'm not being compensated to say this, is supporting Orca Slicer and being open, publishing your changes, using open source Clipper. These are unfortunately not obvious. They're not things that you can take for granted. And when I go to other companies, they go, no, our slicer is better than the original Orca Slicer. I'm like, it's not, number one, I'm sorry, but there's thousands of people developing mainline Orca. You guys have 5, it's not gonna be better. So you guys, 1, open sourcing your slicer, and 2, pushing, this is huge, pushing your changes back to mainline and saying, hey, here is what we did. Other people can use it, play with it, tweak it. That's huge. I think that's one of the biggest selling points besides the multi-material is this printer is friendly to the community, whereas normally polished printers like this from many other brands, and I'm not just singling out any one brand, are not friendly to Clipper open source, to Mainsail, Fluid, and other open source projects like Orca Slicer. That's huge for me.
Appreciate that.
Question for you, which I wanted to get some clarity on. The Kickstarter is going to end pretty soon. What's the situation for my audience or your audience who want to pick one up after the Kickstarter ends or in the next few weeks and months?
That's right. Kickstarter available for $7.99 until September 30th. After that, I think we're going to do a pre-order that will still be below MSRP for a little while, and then MSRP just $9.99. One more little thing before you go out and buy your Snapmaker U1 is if we hit our stretch goals, you're going to get $10 off HueForge, any HueForge product, including the new Flat Forge, starting at the end of September. And if we hit 25 million total, you're also going to get a free extra PEI plate.
As I say, supporting the community.
So faster, less waste, and better for the community, I think is what we want to push here at Snapmaker. So I really appreciate that high praise, man. Thank you so much.
I appreciate what you guys are doing. I'm super excited, and I'm not going to bill you for this, but I do want another U1 for my house.
Absolutely. Let's get you on that. Hey, we're still here at Shenzhen, TCT Asia, and I'm here with my good friend Jerry. Jerry, how you doing?
Hey, nice to meet you again, all the way across the world this time.
Other side of the world, welcome to Shenzhen.
Thank you very much, it's beautiful here.
You enjoying your time so far?
Oh my gosh, this city's crazy.
And there's a lot to see here at TCT Asia, but in my opinion, I think the most exciting thing is the new Snapmaker U1.
Which, actually, I also think it might be one of the craziest things here as well, because the tool changer, obviously.
Lots of people are excited about this word, tool changer, tool changer, tool changer. I'm not super technical. Why is the tool changer such a hot issue, hot word?
So, I don't have a machine with a tool changer. All I have are varying machines from varying manufacturers that do multi-material, right? So AMS boxes, or maybe it's some small box on the side that whatever can load multiple filaments, but obviously there's tons of waste because there's tons of purging. With the tool changer, it solves 2 problems, right? You're solving the speed issue instead of having to, retract fully all the filament, push the new one back in, then you have to purge. It's just, the time is, it's huge. Do you know what your time savings are? For some, let's say a multicolor Benchy, are you saving 30 minutes just for 2 colors, or?
Yeah, so in real world testing, for a relatively complex 4-color model or 4-material model, you could see up to 80% time savings.
That's just ridiculous.
And even in like a slightly less complex, you're still going to be looking at like 50% faster, 60% faster, or something like that. Huge time savings.
So the time savings is crazy, but like also material people that are, materials kind of expensive to some people, right?
Absolutely.
The varying parts of the world, it might be more expensive, and so now you reduce your material by, a huge amount.
Again, in real world testing, if you're doing relatively complex 4 colors or 4 materials, you're looking at 80% waste reduction.
That's ridiculous.
80%. So if you're using expensive stuff like PVA, for example, on supports.
Oh my gosh, yeah.
Yeah.
If it's PLA is on the cheaper spectrum, right? Well, if you're using something like anything carbon fiber, which I don't know if you can use, but can we use carbon fiber with these or?
Not yet, but soon we will be releasing the top cover, which will enable this thing to go up to 50 degrees centigrade.
Okay.
The bed's at 100 already. The extruder's at 300.
I was just about to ask about that top cover. So is that going to essentially, that's going to allow us to print, we can do ABS?
Yeah, absolutely.
That's something that I've never even considered doing, which that's going to make this super easy.
So you can mix and match materials a lot more easily. You're going to be able to do much higher, more complex engineering grade materials on this thing pretty soon with the cover. And it's an awesome device.
Yeah.
Right now, I would say that our main focus obviously is nailing the core features, dialing in the most commonly used filament stuff, and then we'll get to the top cover and the more advanced stuff in short order, early next year.
I hear that you can print multicolored TPU on the U1.
Oh, yeah. Check this out.
I have never seen a multicolored TPU print before. For obvious reasons, because you can't run TPU through an older AMS style box.
Exactly. It's extremely difficult to work with TPU on other machines. But look at this, 3 colors, and then there was the 4th head was just doing PLA supports.
Okay.
And those don't interface with this well, so it breaks right off. You don't even see any residue.
Yeah, and so because PLA and TPU don't
like each other, but they work well as supports.
This is crazy. Okay, so what allows the U1 to actually print TPU in multicolor so well?
Yeah, it's because it doesn't really have to do a lot of retraction.
So
that's the basic answer. And so with each different head, you have the TPU ready to go, and you don't have to pull it all the way out and all the way back in.
So essentially, with an AMS style box, it's difficult to pull TPU all the way through the bone tube. With one of these, you're just pulling it up like a couple millimeters.
It'll move a couple millimeters, which is not a problem. It still allows you to do this really high quality multicolored TPU.
That's crazy. I don't know. This is awesome.
I can't wait to get one into your hands.
Yes,
get it in your workshop. See what you can do with it.
I am going to print multicolored TPU.
Cheers.
Thank you.
Hey Yuto, welcome to TCT Asia. Are you excited to be here?
Yeah, this is, I guess, third time TCT Asia, Shanghai, and the first time Shenzhen.
I think Shenzhen's a lot more fun. How'd you like our live stream yesterday?
I think it went well, right? Above how many viewers?
We have over 10,000 views on that video.
Okay.
Absolutely, it was really fun.
Glad to hear that.
So, we are really excited to get you here to get to play with the U1 some more. And so how do you think the audience here is reacting to it?
I went along quickly, and this Snapmaker booth has most crowds in front of it.
I think we're number 1 at this show, to be honest. So, quick question for you.
Yeah.
We're all really excited for Japan RepRap Festival next year.
Yep.
And we want to support you in that. We'll bring a bunch of U1s to that.
Okay.
When is it going to be?
So I'm still tempting, if I should have a first half or later half.
Yeah.
So maybe in May, June, or September, October, that time,
Sure.
Initially I thought about November, but November you guys definitely have FOAMNEXT.
That's FOAMNEXT.
Whole industry is focusing on the FOAMNEXT Germany.
That's right.
So I should avoid November.
So let me say this. I think there's a bunch of really cool shows all around the world that we can go to, that Snapmaker can join. Japan RepRap in Germany, FOAMNEXT in Shenzhen, TCT, all over the world, all kinds of cool things. Next year, Snapmaker's big plans is to go out into the world, out in the community, out among the people, and we will show off the U1 and any other new exciting developments that we have. Great to have you here.